Hello, and welcome to a video that I wanted to title, oh my gosh, guys, look at this. This is so weird, guys, but YouTube wouldn't let me. Those of you who are regular viewers will notice that the red category that normally stresses you out isn't on my screen because today we are looking at Dubble Card. What is Dubble Card? Let's check it out. The first credit card that allows you to buy things for free or pay double. This is gonna be a fun video. Imagine if buying your favorite ice cream could either cost you double, oops, or nothing at all. Yay! That's Dubble Card. It's a super fun card that turns every payment into a mini adventure. You either get your item for free or pay double. It's a thrilling surprise. That's one word for it. Now, initially, I was pretty hesitant to talk about this because on the one hand, I think this might be an elaborate April Fool's joke, in which case I got bamboozled. Whoops. But on the other hand, if this is real, I don't want to accidentally promote it by talking about it. But I decided to talk about it anyway for a couple of reasons. One, I think most of my regular viewers wouldn't touch something like this with a 10-foot pole, so I don't think we're at much risk there. And two, I think I can kind of scientifically prove that this card will make you less happy. To be clear, I'm not here to make any statements about the intentions or put any labels on the people behind Dubble Card. I just don't have enough information to say like this is a scam or it's predatory or anything like that. So I want to be clear about that. I'm not critiquing the people who made this card. Rather, I'm critiquing the idea behind this card. Let's dig into it. First, I'm not really going to talk much about the worst case scenarios of this card, but I think you probably don't have to be a genius to realize that for some people who are on the edge and might turn to this card in desperation, hoping they can get some important necessities for free, how quickly that could turn into a bad scenario. So let's look at this card in its best case scenario. Because when I first saw this, my first thought was kind of shock. And then my second thought was like, well, actually, that could be kind of fun. For instance, I have a regular coffee date every week, and I buy pretty much the same thing every week. So I could use a card like this for just that coffee date. And maybe by doing that, I could get a few free coffees. I feel like this is kind of the best way to look at this card because we're removing a lot of variables. You know, it'd be the same price every time. It's a relatively small expense. It's not going to bankrupt me. And probably if a YNABer was going to pick up a card like this, it would be for something like that. So let's take a look at that scenario. One of my questions is, well, how does the card decide when to go double and when to go nothing? And the way it sounds like it would be just kind of a 50-50 coin flip, right? And again, I'm not making any claims about Dubble Card itself, but if this company is trying to be profitable, it would certainly benefit them to skew the algorithm in their favor to something more like 55-45 or 60-40. And in theory, because they haven't written anything to the contrary, they could go to 80-20 or something like that. So that's a concern right off the bat. If this card is double charging me more often than it is giving me something free, then it's really just a more expensive way to pay for things. But let's be more generous. Let's assume a 50-50 algorithm coin flip. Well, let's imagine that I go get my first coffee, put it on the Dubble Card, and it's a double. Shoot, but you know, that's what I signed up for. You win some, you lose some. Second time I get coffee, another double. Dang it. Third time, get another double. Now at this point, if I'm not suspecting foul play, something weird starts to happen in my psychology. In my head, I'm likely to start thinking, okay, I've had 3 doubles in a row. I'm due for a free one. I'm more likely to get a free one next time. That's not true. If it really is a 50-50 coin flip, then that means my chances of getting a free one next time are exactly the same as they were this time and the time before and the time before that. It's always 50-50. Why do people keep pulling the lever on slot machines when they've lost time after time after time? Because they're due for a win. And here's the problem. When people think they're due for a win, do they bet less? No, they bet more. Let's say that a coffee costs $5. That means my last 3 coffees have cost $10. If I get a free one now, I am still at a $10 deficit relative to how much the coffee costs. So if I really think that I'm due for a free transaction next time, wouldn't it make more sense to put the gas on it instead? Then I could put myself in the positive, right? But let's even put that aside. Let's say, pure luck of the draw, I keep alternating. So I get double, then I get free, and I get double, and I get free. Well, if I keep doing this with my $5 coffee, it all comes out to a wash, right? I ultimately wind up paying the same amount for all those coffees that I would have if I just used a normal card. But I talk a lot about happiness on this channel, and one thing that makes me happy is when I do get something for free. So couldn't we argue that you're getting your coffee for the same price, but you're getting that little boost in happiness? That little free coffee might make your day. Isn't that worth it? Well, that would make sense if we imagined that every time I get double, my happiness goes down a point. And every time I get something free, my happiness goes up a point. But that is just not how humans work. Behavioral economists, particularly Daniel Kahneman, have been showing for a long time that we as humans feel losses way more acutely than we feel gains. In fact, Kahneman's research suggests that we feel losses twice as much as we feel gains, which means in our most conservative setup, where this is a 50-50 algorithm, the losses have the upper hand. The doubles are twice as day ruining as the frees are day making. It's so wild. To stay ahead of the happiness curve here, you would have to indulge in this super risky behavior where you make large purchases with it, hoping that those will be free, but then also make small purchases with it to soak up the doubles. And if you were like me and just took the most conservative route, the net result is, unless somehow the algorithm skews in your favor, you're less happy than if you just bought the flippin' coffee for what it cost. And I think I wanted to talk about this so much because what this is offering here isn't anything that new. What it's really offering is this idea of, what if you didn't have to make a trade-off? What if you could just get the coffee and it costs you nothing? It's the same promise that a credit card makes or a buy now, pay later program makes. What if you could get that thing now without losing any of your money? And listen, that can be a totally valid trade-off. There are times where getting something now is a lot more valuable than paying less money for it. I've made decisions like that myself. But kind of the twisted nature of this, you don't have to make a trade-off, you can have it all now mentality is, of course, it's not true. Your credit card payment grows and grows and grows until it starts to really pinch the money that you have. You have so many buy now, pay later payments that your paycheck just starts to feel smaller and smaller. And so your trade-off is really more freedom now to have less freedom later. And you have to pay a premium to get back to the freedom you had before. Like, this is probably the most anti-YNAB thing I've ever seen. The first time you give every dollar a job, you have to make trade-offs. Then when you factor in your non-monthly expenses with habit 2, when you embrace those true expenses, you're making even more trade-offs. And then when you apply habit 3 and you have to move money around in YNAB, that's a trade-off in action. And habit 4 is trading more money available to you right now in order to feel more secure in the future. One of the reasons I love YNAB is because it doesn't try to present you a solution of there are no trade-offs. You can somehow magically ride the rainbow over all of the decisions you have to make. YNAB says, no, trade-offs are life. Life is trade-offs. But you can decide what those trade-offs are going to be. How do you want to spend your money? Because here's the thing, your money is an extension of you. It's your time, your energy, your effort, your attention. So when more and more and more of that money is going to interest payments or payment plans or double coffees or whatever, it's a little bit of your freedom. It's a little bit of you that's getting caught up in those things. And this isn't like a pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Anybody can be a million. It's none of that. I recognize that some of you out there watching have way fewer choices or much harder choices than I've ever had to make or ever will have to make. And in many, many cases, it has nothing to do with how smart either of us is, how good of a person either of us is. It's bad luck or bad actors or bad systems or stuff that's just not fair. Whatever scope of influence you have with your own spending, whether it's an extra $3,000 or an extra $30. Don't you want to be the person who makes the choice with that money? Man, I guess the reason I got so worked up about this, and I feel the need to film a whole video about it, is because to me, it just signals this kind of despairing attitude. Like, I know this is supposed to be like a fun little surprise, but at the end of the day, it's like, hey, you want to trade away your intentionality, your freedom of choice for a free coffee or free gas or a free $800 couch, whatever it is they're offering you for free, maybe. I think that your choice, your agency, your autonomy over your money is worth more than that. That's just me. I really hope this is an April Fool's joke, actually.